So I recently gave a presentation to center-right campaign managers in Europe. And it's interesting, should be the next presentation. And what's interesting is people's ability to complicate things and overcomplicate things when you really don't need to. Cool. Just blow up the bottom 5. There you go. Okay, so lost a few people, but we'll keep going. So, vote for someone with whom they share values. I think Rick hit that pretty hard, right? Everybody gets that. People want to vote for people who are like them, only smarter, doesn't act like it. Fundraising is an art and a science. You're going to hear a little bit about art, a little bit about fundraising later, but most everything is about blocking and tackling. Campaigns are about doing extraordinarily simple things extraordinarily well. You want to do 80% of everything, 80% with 80% success. If you do that in a campaign, it's like hitting 100, right? Campaigns are about trust. We talked about that. Be a servant leader. Does anybody know what a servant leader is? I recommend that everybody read the literature on servant leadership. It basically says that your only job is to make everybody else around you better. That you don't take credit for anything, you empower other people, and you help them achieve all of their goals. I have found that trying to take credit for anything is a fool's errand, because there will always be people who won't want you to be successful, and there are always people who don't know whether you actually were successful. And if you pound your own chest and say you did a great job, it's not as nearly as important as other people saying it quietly. Well done. Look, go back to 5 to forget it. Raising money is priority 1. Have a professional administrative staff. Follow up. Okay, next. Always be positive. Others will look to you. If you're managing a campaign or if you're the candidate, if you're having a really bad day, everybody in the organization will look to you to how they should act. If you're upset, they'll be upset. If you're down, they'll be down. Right? So no matter what happens during the campaign, you've got them right where you want them. Always be positive. Have message discipline. Identify the theme and message and stick to it. Don't let the other side take you off course. 8. Okay, now here's a really bizarre concept. You ready for this one? Treat other people the way you want to be treated. I mean, boy, you know, it is so simple, but people just kind of forget that's kind of the gig, right? Don't have opinions, have data. I say it all the time. People will ask me what I think about something. I'll say, I have no idea, but the data I have says X, Y, and Z, but the data's a little old now, so it might have changed in the last 10 days, right? So try and have your opinions and your campaign be as informed as possible. Grassroots wins elections, right? I'd rather have too many people than too much money. Knock on doors, make friends, tell people what's in it for them. Separate coalitions from field programs. They're different. I'll just give you an example. We had volunteer firemen talking to other volunteer firemen. We did not plug them into the local political organization because there's a reason local political organizations usually suck. Now, if you want to take an enthusiastic coalition member and put them in with an organization that's proven that it isn't worth much for the past 20 years, keep coalitions separate, but do everything you can to build the local political organization, but not to the point where you're feuding on stuff. Okay, want everybody to pay close attention to this one and understand what I'm saying. There are very few undecided voters active on social media. Now remember, active on social media. Do not argue with people. Don't engage in Twitter wars or X wars or whatever. But in your campaign, I would assign one person who is your person who answers all of those things. Be nice. Say things like, oh, isn't it sad that you don't have all the facts? Or it's sad that this is nothing more than a Democratic talking point. Would love to meet you for coffee, explain. But be nice, right? Okay, does everybody understand what I mean about there not being a lot of undecided voters active on social media? That doesn't mean don't have a social media campaign. It doesn't mean don't advertise on social media. It doesn't mean do all of those things. But if somebody engages you in a negative way, they're not up for grabs. Always work for the best candidate possible in every race you engage in. I'm very lucky to be doing this for 40 years, and that's always been a secret for me, 14 years. Build a team. You'll always need more people than you think. Is there such a thing as a paid volunteer?
Nope.
Nope. Once you start paying people, what happens?
They expect money.
Everybody wants to get paid. Why? Because somebody doesn't want to be a volunteer while other people are getting paid, even if they like you, because they just feel stupid. Well, how come my time's not worth X dollars, but so-and-so is? It doesn't mean you don't pay people a minimum, like for gas or whatever, but I'm just saying, be careful. Because I have seen grassroots organization crumble quickly because some people found out other people were getting paid and what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. Treat volunteers like gold. Use name tags and designate a volunteer host in the campaign office. So when Glenn Youngkin came in the office, he had a name tag on. Everybody in the office had a name tag on. Why is that? I don't want it to be a memory test for Glenn as to who. I didn't want it to be a memory test for me. Who's who, right? First names, very friendly, et cetera, and that way volunteers know who is who. Okay? It's very important. Measure twice, cut once. Think twice, talk once. I'm sure all of you have heard the expression, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use them that way. The most important things that you will hear during a campaign will come from the field. Will come from just some conversation. In Virginia, the whole parents' rights thing started when a volunteer heard a conversation between 2 administrators. Tracked it down and boom, right? So pay attention. Look after your health and your candidate's health. Sleep is important. People, management, candidates, the greatest resource you have is the candidate. If the candidate's grumpy, they're not winning votes. How important is a spouse in a campaign?
Very important.
Incredibly important.
Family person.
In the Youngkin campaign, she had her own chief of staff, she had her own driver, she had her own scheduler, because she and Glenn were very, very close, and she was just great. And she headed up Women for Youngkin, which was a huge part of our success. And here's just a little secret. It is human nature that the last person you talk to in the day, those are the thoughts that somehow stick in your brain, right? So all of you who are a candidate or managing a campaign, who is the last person to talk to the candidate before he or she laid their head down on the pillow?
Spouse.
The spouse. A spouse, male or female, can destroy an entire day's work by feeling left out, not included. Your schedule can change on a dime if the spouse isn't included in the scheduling process. We would have scheduling meetings. Did we invite the candidate? No. Would we include the candidate's spouse? Damn right. Because do I know what's going on in the high schoolers' world? Do I know when the parent-teachers meeting is? Do I know when the basketball game is? Do I know when the thing is? You know, what you don't want is a candidate to look at you at 7 o'clock at night and go, I'm not going there. I've got to go to my son or daughter's basketball game. And of course, you don't want to say something like, it's your job to make sure that that kind of stuff does not happen. Your health matters. Family matters. There is nothing about this business that is worth sacrificing a family over. If someone's not going to cry at your funeral, they're just not that important. Okay? So just imagine yourself dead. A week from now, who gives a shit? Those are the people you need to care about. Now, I know that's a little radical, but I had one experience where a guy had dedicated 25 years to a certain elected official's life. He died, and 2 weeks later at a staff meeting, the elected official involved temporarily forgot the name of the guy. Boy, did that wake me up as to what people, staff come and go, yada yada. So trust me on this one. A finance committee with great co-chairs is important. Remember, you're not raising money for yourself. You are raising money to put in place the hopes and dreams of the person that you're asking for the resource from. Please give me $1,000 so I can help make the city safer. Please give me $1,000 so I can protect our children and grandchildren. I don't want you to have to move to Florida. I want you to be happy here. Can you support my campaign? Whatever it is, don't ask, gee shucks, I'm running, and if you could give me $1,000, no, the money's not going to you. You're not putting it in your pocket. You're not from Jersey. Right? Unless you're the candidate, your name is not on the ballot, right? If your name is on the ballot, it's a whole new level of responsibility, because staffs have to protect their candidates. Because remember, professional campaign staff, after a campaign's over, man, they're out of town. They're packed up and gone, leaving you and your reputation in tatters because they ran a lousy race, right? So you have to think about the day after the election is over, is your candidate in a better place than they were previously? Every day is election day. Act like it. Especially now with early voting, vote by mail, etc., etc. With social media, Rick and I are so old that we can remember that a reporter would call you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and give you a whole 12 hours to answer a question. Not anymore. There's no fact checking. There's so many outlets out there slinging information as hash that you better have a thoughtful response. Also, let me give you a canned one that always worked well for me. If you're ever accused of running a negative campaign, your answer is this: the only thing negative about my campaign is my Cummins record. When I win, there'll be nothing but positive campaigns, right? Early voting and vote by mail has increased pressure for the organization. Whatever the laws are, be more aggressive implementing them than the Democrats are. So I did Brett Schumler's Jersey City mayor's race, where outrage stood 131-1. And we went into housing projects, and after they got done throwing stuff at us, he said, within 2 hours of being sworn in as mayor, this community room is going to be a police substation. And there will be no more drug sales in public housing in Jersey City. By the time we were done, we won housing projects. We won every single, and he was a 34-year-old guy in a suit, and the campaign was kind of easy. Look around, Jersey City sucks. We can't make it worse. Give us a shot. I mean, that's basically what it boiled down to. And we won. Okay, this one's important. Be a mentor and a safe zone for staff. There was a joke in the Cruz campaign that I wasn't the political director, I was the shop steward. Because every problem that somebody had, they knew not to go to the manager, but to come to me, because I had a slightly different approach to dealing with people day to day, right? So your job in a campaign leadership role or candidate is to make sure everybody is okay. If somebody looks like they're having a bad day, ask them why. If somebody, and do everything you can to avoid drama. In the Youngkin campaign, I had signs made that said, no fussing, no cussing, no drama on the road to Richmond. And we put a small trash can on a table right by the front door, and every time you cussed, you had to put in $1. Well, I can be rather ineloquent. So I would just, at the beginning of each month, throw 100 in, and I was good, right? So, and all that money went to charity. A candidate will win by demonstrating the answer to the number one question. Does this candidate care about people like me? Whichever candidate voters believe cares about them personally is the candidate that will win. Now, the hard part, because elections have gotten so parliamentary, Democrats think they know what a Republican is. Republicans think they know what a Democrat is, right? And then you've got progressive Democrats, and you've got sane Democrats, and then you've got batshit crazy Republicans, and then you've got moderate Republicans. You have a tremendous opportunity to make this about New York. Keep it local. Local, local, local. Talk about stop signs, stoplights.
Bike lanes.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it local, everything local. And 25, expect the unexpected. The really funny thing about doing, I'm a management by objectives kind of guy. Last thing I do at the end of the day, I go to look at my list of things to do, figure out what I did, what needs to be done the next day, and then I add things to the next day. In campaigns, sometimes you just don't get to the fourth or fifth thing, right? There have been a couple things on my list of things to do that, quite frankly, you go 90 days, and number 5 was number 7, because stuff, more important stuff happens on top. But you always need to know what needs to be done and delegate as much as you can. Know your strengths and weaknesses as well as your candidates. If your candidate is not a great public speaker, what should you do? Don't have them address larger crowds. If they do better in smaller crowds, then keep your candidate there. Written job descriptions. Everybody in the campaign we do has a written job description, because I have, over the course of 40 years, I've probably only fired 4 people, and they all got fired for the same reason. What do you think they said to me that would have me fire them on the spot?
That's not in my job description.
That's not my job. You say that's not my job or not my job description, there's the door. I put up tables and chairs. I do everything. If it needs to be done, it needs to be done. And it's about culture. It's about building the right culture to know that you're all in it together. Structure will strengthen your operation. Org charts, chain of command, span of control are all very important. Campaigns are like military operations, not like bake sales. Manage your online reputation. Social media blogs and other websites that demonstrate your online footprint will be used against you, which is why you always have to stay positive. And here's a funny thing coming from me, who has a reputation for being a bit of a hammer from time to time. Be nice. Be nice. Okay. I gotta know what is.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I got a social media presence, and I've been known to troll the left very often.
Oh no! If you're having fun,
Yeah.
trolling the left, I could care less. But just don't think it's getting you votes.
Gotcha.
But as far as sport trolling, I'm all in favor of it. And social media is a wonderful opportunity to do some hysterically funny things. Well, funny for us, not funny for them. So we were managing the top 5 congressional race, very heated. They had some kind of a problem and changed campaign managers in October. So when a top campaign is changing campaign managers in October, you know there's more there, right? So we went and researched the new campaign manager's social media. And then we let all the college Republican clubs around the area go to work on her. I mean, it was not good. It was so bad I felt bad about it. That's like Pontius Pilate feeling sorry for a day. I mean, sorry, that was a biblical reference. Never mind, I take it back. So, and then, so she lasted a week. And then they changed campaign managers again. And then they took them 2 more weeks to hire a new one because they had to vet the new campaign manager. So we took the wheels off of another campaign because we vetted the staff of our opponent. So all of you, word of advice, clean up your social media. I don't tweet. I'm not on Facebook. The world does not need to know what I think, trust me. Because when the hurricane was approaching Puerto Rico, I would have said, I'm in favor of statehood for Puerto Rico right now. Because I don't want to pay another $90 million, right? Nobody needs to know what I think, because I'm a wise ass, right? So I just keep my mouth shut. Don't waste words. Be nice. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And keep it simple, stupid. Older voters vote based on their hopes and dreams. Younger voters vote. Older voters vote on what they're afraid of. Younger voters vote on their hopes and dreams. And if you keep all those things generally straight, you'll do absolutely great. You've got a tremendous opportunity to do really, really well this cycle. So thanks, guys. Rick, you're back up.
This is our second to last presentation. We've got Rick and
Yes, and I want you to all stay because Maureen is after me and she has a presentation that I want to see, and it's about fundraising. So we're going to get through the meeting presentation.